Now that we've made our way through this photograph, there are only a handful more things that we want to do with this particular image. So far, the image is looking really good. One thing that I want to do is zoom in a little bit and look at my overall before and after. I can do that by holding down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and clicking on the eye icon in the background layer. So here's my before and then my after. Okay, well, so far so good. We've improved the image. We'll zoom out a little bit more so you can see that pulled back. Here's our before and after. We want to do that in a sense to try to see what we've done so far. And I'm noticing a few things. One of the things that I'm noticing is I want to work on the overall color and tone. I want to work on the tone and color of the lips a little bit more. And in addition, I missed something, right? There are a couple of wrinkles down here on the neck. And I originally left those in because I don't want the image to be too perfect. But now at this stage, now that the skin looks so good and the color and tone looks so good, I realize I need to clean that up. So I'm going to create one more layer. I'll press Shift-Command-N on a Mac, Shift-Control-N on a PC. I'm going to call this layer Wrinkles. Next, I'll grab my Healing Brush tool. I'll press the J key to select that tool, make sure I have a line turned on, sample all layers, and I'll zoom in a bit. And then what I'm going to do is make my brush about the size of the wrinkles or so, and I'm just going to make my way through here. Now, the nice thing about working on this area is that it's all out of focus, so it's pretty easy. I just don't want the skin to look too blotchy. I'm going to go ahead and make my brush nice and big, sample a nice clean area up here, and slowly bring some of that clean area down, just to try to get rid of some of the darkness in there and just clean that up a bit. Okay, well, that's pretty simple, and we've seen stuff like that before, but just something that I had to do with this image, right? And then I'll zoom out. Here's my before and after, just taking those wrinkles out, and then I'll lower my opacity. So I have a little bit of that shape there on the neck, but they're pulled back. Okay, well, that looks nice. All right, well, the next thing that I want to do is start to evaluate my layers. And so I'll go ahead and turn off the eye icons of all of these layers, and then I want to organize things a bit too. So we have some of our cleanup work, right? And our cleanup work looks really nice, and we've done some shadows and overall lips, and that's looking pretty good. And I'll actually stop probably right about there. I'm going to then group these layers together. This I'm going to call my initial cleanup, where I work on the overall tone and some of the cleanup work. So I'll click on my topmost layer, hold down the Shift key, click on that bottom cleanup layer, then press Command-G on a Mac, Control-G on a PC. We'll name this group Cleanup. Next, I have a bunch of layers for my lips. So there's one lips layer, another lips color, lips tone, and then we have a little bit more on the lips there, adding a little bit of hue into that adjustment. Go ahead and close that there. Okay, well, great. Well, let's click on that topmost layer, hold down the Shift key, click in the bottommost layer, then on a Mac, Command-G on a PC, Control-G. We'll name this lips. This way it'll be much more easy to work on our layers. And we have some of these dimension layers, adding a little bit to the cheeks there, and then a little bit of dimension there. Okay, well, great. We'll click in this topmost layer and then the bottom one. Hold down the Shift key when we make that click. So Shift click both of those layers and then press Command-G on a Mac, Control-G on a PC, and we'll call this dimension. Now again, the nice thing about this is that as we click this on and off, let's say that, you know what, I just don't like the darkening that happened up here on the forehead. I'm going to bring this up so we can see it a little bit more. And when I turn this on and off, it's too dark up there for me. Well, no big deal. I'll add a mask to this entire group. I'll click on the Add Layer Mask icon. I'll paint with black. And then what I can do is mask away that particular adjustment. Let's go all the way up to 100% that I made where it affected the forehead. And it's just a nice quick way to modify a bunch of layers underneath. And so now here we have our before and after just affecting the lower portion of the face. And again, if it's a little bit too strong right there, I can take it out. Here's my before and after. So it just gives me so much flexibility with these layers that I've already made. Okay, well, great. Let's do a little bit more organizational work. Here we have some curves for the eyebrows. That's a little bit too strong, isn't it? Let's lower the opacity there a bit. Here's our before and after. Keep that nice and simple. And then we have a little bit more adjustments to eyes, and then a little bit of brightness in those eyes, and then finally some wrinkle work down below. So let's call this group here. We'll go ahead and click on the bottom layer, hold down the Shift key, click on the top layer, and press Command-G and call this group Eyes, because it's basically our eyes and our eyebrows, and we can turn this on and off. And then I'm just going to leave this wrinkles layer as is because it doesn't really belong anywhere, and I may need to access that at some point. All right, well, now that I've evaluated my photograph, cleaned it up a little bit, and I've also started to clean up my layers so that I can handle what I've done and look at what I've done, really evaluate it with a critical eye, but my before and after, and say, okay, yeah, you know, I'm going in a pretty good progression. The next thing that we need to do is come up with some different color treatments or work on the overall color and tone. And we'll start to do that in the next movie.